All right, so thank you for joining us this afternoon. You are in a leadership class. There are about 20 sophomores in here. You were a sophomore a few years ago now.
It's been a minute.
It has. So we'll go ahead and get into some of the questions. We'll talk a little bit about your experience at early college, experience with the military, and then what you're up to now.
Okay.
All right, so what were some of your favorite memories of your time at early college?
I'd say some of my fondest for the recycling fashion shows. Just seeing the creativity that was brought and the camaraderie um, between the advisories to come up and compete against one another. Probably my favorite. And then I would say the winter formals.
All right. Interesting conversation. We hadn't done a recycling fashion show in years, but this leadership class just had Solid Waste Authority here, and they started entertaining the ideas of trying to bring it back. So that's exciting. That was always a really fun event. And then you mentioned the winter formal. How many of us in here have been? All right, so most people in here have been, but just a fantastic experience. Best $10 you can spend. Still costs $10 all these years later. All right, so those were some of your favorite experiences or favorite memories. What did you do, or when did you graduate from early college?
I graduated in 2015.
2015. And what did you do after graduation?
So after graduation, I was actually waiting on my ACT retake, trying to get into the Citadel. I never heard back from them, so I decided to go ahead and sign my name on the line, and I joined the Marine Corps.
Right. And how long did you serve with the Marines?
I served almost 5 years. I got out in 2020.
Why'd you pick the Marines over all the other branches?
So I'm a Army brat. My whole family is Army, with the exception of a few Navy. Um, Looking into it, growing up, I've always wanted to be a Army guy, per se. And looking into each of the branches, I just felt like the Marine Corps had a lot of symbolism behind everything. There's For everything they do, there's a reason why they do it, and they just hold themselves to a higher prestige.
Uh, would you say that you were really disciplined leaving high school?
I'd say I had a little bit of discipline for being, 17 years old. Thought I was ready to conquer the world until I actually got out. Um, and actually joined the Marine Corps. Then my eyes definitely opened up, especially my first 2 years in. I was stationed in Iwakuni, Japan. So just seeing a whole different culture, my eyes definitely opened up.
Did you enjoy Japan?
Oh, I absolutely enjoyed it. If I could go back, I would.
What would you say is the greatest thing you learned through your experience with Marine Corps?
Um, that's a tough. I've learned a lot of stuff. So my military occupation specialty, or MOS, was military police. So growing up, that was my job that I wanted to be. I want to be some kind of law enforcement. Ideally, I wanted to be FBI. But just learning that aspect, I feel like, just with anything, there is a mentality of customer service that should be brought to any level of job. You should have that desire to serve others, and that's how I do it, is by serving the local communities.
I never really thought of that before, but that makes a lot of sense. And so you left the Marine Corps after 5 years, then what?
So I got out. So I was in North Carolina at Camp Lejeune. When I got out, I went back to a local community college to pursue my passion of becoming a pilot. There are some issues with that school because they just started the aviation program there. But either way, I knew I was going to need at least a 4-year degree if I wanted to pursue something along with the airlines, which that has actually changed. But fast forward, this past August made a year that I've been up in Virginia, and I'm at Liberty University.
Enjoying your time at Liberty?
I'm absolutely enjoying it. They do keep me busy between classes, my flight schedule, and and I work part time with campus security.
How much longer until you finish?
That's a great question. So I've hit some hiccups in the road with my flight training um, compared to which I do recommend if you're interested in flying. Definitely, that's something to pursue. Growing up, I never, I knew being a pilot was a job, but I never knew how to go about doing it, and I never knew how easy it was to become a pilot. But you can start at 14 years old, start actually flight training. Um, so ideally, I should be finished with my degree in about 2 years, depending on how the flight training goes. I'm actually finishing up for my private license right now.
Good. And I assume the career outlook for pilots is pretty good, especially post pandemic.
Yes, there is actually a huge demand for pilots, which, we think airlines, that's just a small number of the jobs that's out there because you have corporate aviation, flying. So like Chick-fil-A has their own business aviation. So you can fly for Chick-fil-A, fly for Waffle House, things like that. Just smaller aspects to it. I actually just got done taking a test Tuesday, just to give myself another option and another door to possibly open up, and that's with the FAA as an air traffic controller. So, uh, you know, not trying to limit myself, but keep all my possibilities open.
How difficult is it to keep those possibilities open? You have an idea on what you want to do, but then new opportunities come up. How do you kind of figure that out?
Oh, that's a tough one. For me, I'm a little stubborn. Sometimes something's right in front of me, and I choose to ignore it, and I want to go something else. I'm trying to be open-minded about every possible thing there is. Um, so along that, I initially came into Liberty with a focus on getting a major in commercial corporate aviation. Um, when I got my class scheduled before I even moved up here, there was a unmanned aerial systems class on there, and I was like, I was kind of thrown off by it. I was like, why am I being made to take an unmanned aerial systems class when I'm trying to actually fly a plane and not drones? Well, after taking the class, it sparked an interest, and I'm actually double majoring. So I threw on a unmanned aerial systems major as well, and I'm also throwing on a minor in psychology. So,
You are
education is definitely important.
you are staying busy for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, what advice would you give sophomores?
Oh, um, I would say if I had to speak to myself again, I would say apply yourself. Um, I didn't like school while I was in, and I only think about had I applied myself while I was in school, I would probably be in a different situation than I am now. Probably, and more so, better off. Um, if you could start lining things up now, um, you know, get these stepping stones. It's just going to help you in the long run.
So, wise words. All right. I'm going to open the floor up for questions if anybody in our audience has questions. What's your job? You mentioned you're a student working part time as security.
Yeah, I'm doing part-time security for campus police.
Bet you see some interesting stuff with that job too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What would you say has been your greatest experience from your time at Liberty?
Oh, uh, the I don't know. I've been to a couple of the football games. There's definitely a big camaraderie here. Being close to Coastal, I've been to many of the games over there. I've known a lot of people.